Welcome to the Hope Unlocked podcast. I'm your host, Kristen Kurtz, and I'm also the founder of New Wings Coaching. I help and empower wild-hearted and adventurous women of faith feeling caged and stuck unlock their true purpose and potential, break free from limitations, and thrive with confidence, courage, and hope. If you're curious to learn more about coaching with me, head to newwingscoaching.net and be sure to explore the show notes for ways to connect with me further. Get ready to dive in as we uncover empowering keys and insights in this episode. So tune in and let's unlock hope together. Welcome to the Hope Unlocked podcast. I'm Kristen Kurtz, your host. I pray this episode is like a holy IV of hope for your soul. Please help me welcome Rebecca Stuart to the show. So excited to have her here today. She is just a sweet friend of mine, and I know she has so much to share with you guys. So before we get into that, would you be open to sharing a little bit about yourself?
Well, first, thank you so much for having me. It is such an honor to be here, and I just love and adore you. And I'm so grateful to know you.
Oh, right back at you.
Yeah, I am I am wow, that's a really loaded word, isn't it? Briefly,
Yes.
I am a wife, a mama, I homeschool, I am a retired public school bus driver and retired international missionary. And then in my act 3 or 4 of life, decided to go back to school, I'm now a board certified nutritional therapy practitioner, and I started an online virtual practice where I work with clients on a one-on-one basis with their complex chronic health issues. And then I launched a health course for homeschoolers in high school to just give them real practical life skills to make good, healthy choices for their lives. And yeah, that's kind of a little about me.
Look at you. So much goodness. I love you've retired in a couple ways, but you've refired in a few other ways as well.
Ooh, I like that. Retiring and refiring.
Refired. You got refired. Yep.
That's golden. I'm going
So
to write
tell
that
us a little
down.
bit about that journey from retiring.
Well,
Because you're not quote unquote of retirement age, as the world would say, right?
right. I did it for quite a long time. It was a wonderful job that was able to help feed my family and pay some bills while I homeschooled my kids during the day. So it was a pretty unique,
Mm.
honestly, God provided source of income and a good daily reminder of why I personally am choosing to homeschool my kids. Um, probably didn't help that I was also like a special needs school bus driver. My kids were behaviorally challenged, and so I was on first name basis with all the police officers in
Oh,
the
you were.
district. Yeah, so I was ready for a change. The stress was was a lot. I was got a hold of a continuous glucose monitor and was monitoring and learning how my body handled sugar.
Oh,
And I learned that I have a very solid, stable blood sugar, except for the 20-minute drive to work in the morning and 20-minute drive on the way to work in the afternoon. And
wow.
my blood sugar would spike
Mm.
really hard and fast. And so stress does that. Stress will cause your blood sugar to spike.
Okay.
And that was very eye-opening to me that my job and my role that I was in was really creating a very kind of
Mm.
almost a visceral physical response, and my body was like,
Great.
no. So
Yeah.
yeah, so then my we were just kind of I had been praying for a few years for a change because it was just getting harder and harder.
Mm.
And my husband was blessed with a new job that actually was triple the amount of money that we were both making at the time. So it really
Combined?
provided, huh? Yeah.
Combined? Wow.
Yeah. It really provided a way for me to kind of step away from that and think of, well, what do I want to do next?
Mm.
And my daughter was my firstborn was leaving for university, and that was really hard for me to
Mm.
launch my first bird. And so I asked the Lord for a good, healthy distraction and next stage in life. And he said, go back to school.
Wow.
So while my daughter went to school, I went back to school. I still continued to homeschool my son. And
Mhm.
so yeah, that's how that kind of changed.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I want to just kind of hit on, you have gone to school for, the health aspect, right? So somebody might be asking, because I'm wondering, as I always do, that visceral reaction, that insulin spike that you were feeling, not even during the work, but you were experiencing it before
Yeah.
heading into work. Did you experience any symptoms other than seeing it on the monitor? Is there anything that you were experiencing physically that you can remember? Because I'm just wondering if maybe somebody's like, tell me more about that.
I mean, just the thought of driving the school bus in the mornings and afternoons was a little that stress. I would feel my heart rate rise a little bit, and I would feel that tingly anxiety, that you
Mhm.
feel in your chest and arms and legs, like, but not to the degree of warning, warning. It was more just like that subtle, because it was something I did every day and I'd been doing it for years. I
Mhm.
think I just kind of learned that that's how I felt every time I would go to work, and it just was nothing new. So to see it on my actual monitor was like, oh,
Wow.
something is happening. My body does not like this.
Okay.
And yeah, yeah, good question.
Good,
Great
good to
question.
know. I love that. Because I know maybe you'll talk a little bit more about this later as well. But so you headed in to go back to school for, tell me again the name of the um like
The,
certification you received or
yeah, so
diploma.
I went to the Nutritional Therapy Association.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
an international or global online nutritional therapy program. It's really phenomenal. It's pretty intensive. I probably spent a good 20 to 30 hours a week in
Wow.
school.
Okay.
Um,
And how
yeah,
long was that program?
it was a 12-month intensive.
12 months.
Yeah,
Oh,
just to get
wow.
started. Yeah.
Now,
And
had
I've
you like maybe years ago ever thought about doing something like that? Like what what was the trigger to kind of push you into that realm then?
That's a wonderful question. So I was actually thinking about this today.
You were.
That,
Perfect.
yeah. When I was a little girl,
Mhm.
my dad was in organ transplant research. So my dad actually was a part of the team that completed the first successful liver transplant ever done, and it was
Oh,
done on pigs.
mm,
And my mom was a health major, and so I grew up in a health household, research, science, and lots of
mhm,
research.
mhm.
And so when I was younger, I always dreamed of being a doctor, and I always thought I'm going to be a doctor.
Yeah.
And then when I was about 11 or 12, I developed a significant hand tremor.
Mm,
And I've seen all the ologists, none of them know why my hands shake. So
mm,
that kind of like ruled me out for, sticking anybody with a needle or a scalpel. And then I didn't know it at the time, but I was struggling with some learning disabilities, and I was really struggling in school. So I really died in middle school, probably my freshman, sophomore year of high school, to the dream of ever doing anything in the health space and medical space, because the only thing I thought I could do was be a doctor or a nurse. And I was like, I don't want to be a nurse. That sounds like too much work.
right.
I mean,
When you
I'm
think back to
terrible.
like that time frame, I was thinking about this recently, like at least in the high school I went to, is like, here's your categories of things that
Right.
you can go to school for. Doctor, lawyer, just
Yeah. The
here's how much
general.
they make. And, I was thinking like,
Right.
interesting, like how they can almost kind of, cause you to think like these are your only options.
Yeah. And
There's
then,
there's no creative options outside of that.
oh, out of the box. I know. Thinking outside of the box. How dare you?
And we're so out of the
Oh,
box.
oh
So
my gosh, that's my life story. But yeah, it was actually during, I mean, we've always as a family tried to eat healthy and eat right. In fact, we were vegans for 3 years, just lots of raw fruits and vegetables, very clean vegan. And what I didn't realize at the time, that as a parent, I was failing my children in leading my family and trying to be healthy and eating that type of a diet, because I was I was holding back essential nutrients that my children needed to develop their brains and their hormones and
Mm.
so much more. And when my daughter was 16, a switch kind of flipped,
Mm.
and she just began to spiral mentally and emotionally very fast.
Mm.
And we took her to therapists, we took her to doctors. We had no idea what was going on with her. She began cutting herself, attempting suicide. It
Mm.
was a season of just I was in pure exhaustion and desperation, just trying to figure out what was wrong with my daughter. And we
Mm.
did thorough blood panels. We did month-long hair and saliva testing, and all when the testings, we did tons of testing, and came back that she had like no neurotransmitters. Like she didn't
Really?
even score for neurotransmitters, and then she didn't even register for any hormones,
Mhm.
and like none. And I'm like, wow. And that's when I was like, wait, okay, so this is a physiological issue. This is not like a trauma issue. This is actually a physical issue. And so then I just asked the Lord, what to do. And I was actually driving to work one morning. It was like 4:30 in the morning, and I was half awake, but I was like, Lord, what in the world can I do? I said, but I don't have capacity to do much. I need something simple. I need something very easy. And I need help. I don't know what to do. And I kept hearing the word like carnivore going through my mind. And this was before
Mhm.
that diet was even known. And I was like, I don't even know what that means. What does carnivore mean? Like all morning as I'm driving my bus, I keep hearing this word carnivore, carnivore, carnivore. I'm like, what the freak
Mhm.
is carnivore?
Right.
And I get home, and one of my really good friends, she sends me a video, and she said, I was praying for you and your daughter this morning, and I came across this video, and I felt like I was supposed to send it to you. And it was the story of this teenage girl. She was 16, same age as my daughter at the time. She'd been
Yeah.
vegan for 3 years, and she was experiencing all the same symptoms that my daughter was. And then she decided
Mm.
to try this carnivore diet, and within a couple of weeks reversed everything. And I was like, oh, it's a diet. And
Mm.
so then I went down that rabbit hole, and so my husband was right on board. He was like, "Give me steak and bacon again." Oh yeah, baby. So we did a complete like 180 from
Wow.
no animal products whatsoever to 100% animal products, nothing
Wow.
else. And within 2 weeks, 2 weeks. That's all it took. 14 days. I remember it. It was like a switch was flipped in my daughter. The
Really?
color came back in her eyes. She started laughing again. She stopped spiraling. She was hanging out with friends again. Like it was, it was such a dramatic difference and
Wow.
change that was happening in front of me. That's when I was like, wait a minute,
Mhm.
there's something to this. What you eat really makes a big difference in your life. And that's when I was like, I need to know more. And I need
Mm.
to know, I need more. I need more information. And so that's when I decided to pursue learning about the power of nutrition and the foundations of life. And
Mm.
yeah, they're really powerful, like really, really powerful. Yeah.
It's amazing. So I'm just kind of curious too. Like, it wasn't just your daughter who, went this way, the 180, but you all did. Did you guys all experience
Hmm.
different, quote unquote, breakthroughs as well?
Yeah. So definitely. My husband, who had, I didn't even realize it, had kind of been dealing with a little bit of depression. And you would have probably thought just seasonal depression, but he
Yeah.
snapped like to life and was full of energy and was doing chores and like
Really?
just getting up and cooking. And I was like, okay, wow, something's happening. So there's some vitality and libido kicking in there that
Mhm.
wasn't there before. And then, my son was the same way. My son, he just became just so much happier and content and calmer. And um, I, yeah, for me personally, I didn't realize that I was generally an anxious person because on the 3 week mark for me, I had such a calm that ran through every cell of my being. It was like somebody just because I mean, I have a tremor, I shake all the time. So I just thought what I feel is my shaking, but I didn't realize that I was also anxious.
Wow.
And I experienced like moments of pure zero anxiety. And it was just like, whoa. I
Incredible.
also, I also suffer from a virus that I picked up while working in China and suffered with joint and muscle pain, fatigue, just general inflammation side symptoms. And on that same in that same period,
Mhm.
I was pain free. I
Completely pain free.
I was pain free. Yeah. And
Wow.
so it's not, I love carnivore. I think it's a beautiful therapeutic diet. I think it's definitely very powerful when done correctly. It's not easy. It's hard, but it's
Mhm.
very simple. So like my brain capacity, my emotional capacity, I couldn't track macros and stuff and food. I'm
Yeah.
like, if
Yeah.
it's an animal product, eat it. If it's not an
Yeah.
animal product, don't eat it. Like
Yeah.
that's all.
Right.
It's very simple in that
Yeah.
sense.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So yeah.
That's incredible. So when somebody hears carnivore now, like I see it a lot. I see it more now than
Mm,
ever. And I'm also very much into like, I love looking into nutrition and holistic things and functional medicine things and all the things that are, I like to say super natural. So,
yeah.
if somebody's wondering like what is carnivore diet? Like what does it actually consist of? Like give us a snapshot of your day. And we're not saying this is what you need to go do. Just want to put that out
Mm-mm.
there as a disclosure. But
This is not medical advice at all.
exactly.
No,
But
it's
what would your day like actually look like? Maybe
um
specifically for your daughter, especially for that radical transformation. Ever hear something on this show that stirs something deep, like a nudge from God that there's more? That's stirring. It's not random. I'm Kristen Kurtz, host of Hope Unlocked and the founder of New Wings Coaching, and I'm inviting you into a 45-minute unlocking session, a sacred space to press in, hear what heaven is saying, and activate your next bold step. If you're a trailblazer or kingdom voice ready to break free from doubt and live fully alive, this is for you. Book now at newwingscoaching.net/hope unlocked for special listener pricing. You were born to live uncaged and unapologetically bold. Now back to the show.
so we had because the kids were going off of carbohydrates and sugars is like going off of drugs, and it's not easy.
Mhm.
So the cravings get very intense. So we had to get very creative with our food.
Mhm.
So some people who are carnivore, they'll just eat steak or they'll just eat hamburger patties or chicken, or sometimes they'll just eat deli meats. And some people are,
All
there's
day.
some, yeah. And then, you know, there are different types of carnivore. So there's carnivore where it's like basically 90% animal products and 10% fruit and honey. And then you've got the hardcore lion diet where it is literally red meat, and water and maybe a little salt. That's
Did you
it.
say the lion diet?
Yeah, the lion diet.
Oh.
So there are like there's a whole range and within just that whole diet alone. But for us, kind of our typical day was really lots of bacon and eggs and sausage and for breakfast
Mhm.
and cheese. And then we would get creative with burgers. We did loaded nachos, but instead of corn chips, we use pork rinds. And
Really?
we'd use pork rinds. We do like lots of taco meat with some seasoning. We did do some seasonings because you just need seasoning to flavor some
Everything.
right. Oh my goodness. And like the cheese and the sour cream and so we would kind of do like loaded pork rinds that way. We got really creative with meat pizza. So we would make like a meat, chicken, and cheese blended, like a ground chicken and cheese mixed crust. And then we would just do like cheese and then load it with like pepperoni and sausage and stuff.
Interesting.
we just
Oh,
get creative. There's
yeah.
cookbooks out there now. I wish I had, but
Oh,
there's some wonderful cookbooks, carnivore cookbooks out there that you can get to get really, really creative and
yeah.
make chicken nuggets. Well, we would make homemade chicken tenders or chicken nuggets using basically crushed pork rinds for the crust.
Oh.
So instead of a bread,
Mhm.
gluten breading or like a bread breading for your nuggets or tenders, we would use pork rinds for a lot of things. So
Oh, interesting.
yeah, we
I've
have to
never
get.
heard of that before. I haven't dug into it too much either.
Yeah,
My question is like, you know, fiber, how is your everybody's digestion? Did everybody do well?
absolutely. It actually healed my IBS.
Stop it,
Um,
really?
yeah. And so this is when I was like, wait a minute, I need to go to school and figure this out because this doesn't make any sense. And I started to realize like so much of what I hear and what I've learned and what people say, I'm like, wait, is this really true?
Mhm.
And I fiber is one of those things. It's one of the only things in our food that we eat that is impossible for our body to digest. So,
Mhm.
in the sense that we cannot break it down, we cannot take it apart and use it for our good. It
Mhm.
it fiber when it enters the mouth, it will exit, out the other end in
Mhm.
its part. So, fiber does provide it does act in a couple ways in the sense that it will act as a binder. So it binds to toxins, excess hormones, those things that are moving through the gut and help pull them out. Fiber also can, depending upon the type of fiber, can feed the good bacteria in your colon, in your microbiome. So it acts as a fuel source for them. Um, but fiber actually can cause constipation. It can just your intestinal tract is only one cell deep,
Mhm.
and so it's very fragile. So if you have a lot of fiber,
Mhm.
I kind of think of it as like running a bunch of mulch through pantyhose. Like it's gonna
Mhm.
scrape up and snag the
Wow.
walls, the walls of your intestines. Like putting mulch through pantyhose is gonna snag your pantyhose. So
Wow. I never
um
thought of it that way.
it's roughage and people say scrape up your intestines. I'm like, oh Lord, your intestines are supposed to be nice and slippery and slimy, and they have a mucus layer, and it's to protect them from getting cut up and beat up so things don't move through that aren't supposed to go through. And
Mhm.
and so yeah, it actually it after going carnivore for a while, we're not still carnivore anymore. We eat a lot of meat, but
Yeah.
um, my daughter had severe gluten sensitivity, but
Uh-huh.
she was able to heal her gut, and so that now she can handle bread now. She doesn't have.
Any bread?
Yeah, she can eat any bread. She can eat any gluten. It's not a problem for her at all.
Really?
Me, I had really bad IBS, and I think it stemmed a lot from anxiety, but
Like trauma?
um, yeah, but my gut, I with my history of my virus and trying drugs and I was on trials, I think I really messed things up
Mm.
and in there. And yeah, I
Wow.
became incredibly regular and healthy, no bloating, no gas. Yeah, it basically eliminated all bloating, all gas, and got us all regular. So
That
it
is
was a very
incredible.
opposite effect that I was expecting it to have.
Oh. So how long was it that you guys were, or like specifically for you, how long were you like following this path? Like really
So
diligently?
diligently, I would say we did it probably for like 2 years,
Oh, you
and my
did.
daughter more for like 7, 8 months, and
Wow.
then at home, my son when my son was still at home with us, but like he would go to friends' houses and youth group, and he would eat like the pizza and the hot dogs and stuff. I'm like, I
Sure.
don't really care,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
what you're, I can only control what you're having at home. And
Right.
so I don't stress about what he's having at friends' houses. But
Yeah.
it would be interesting because he would eat a bunch of junk,
Hmm.
over a weekend while spending the night at a buddy's house and then come home and he would just be like, he would feel sick
Oh,
and like crap for the next
oh,
24 hours. And I'd be like, okay, what are we learning about this?
right,
Like
right.
how you are responding to what you are
That's
eating. Like
food. Yeah, it's so
this is a real
powerful.
learning experience for you,
Yes.
which you
What,
can
so what did
handle.
it look like to like kind of re-enter back into like what does it look like for you guys now? Like how do you what
Yeah.
is your operating system like each day?
Now it's, I mean, we are still, I think mostly, I mean, we're probably a really strong keto.
Mhm.
I do, um, we're both mostly meat and veg, and
Mhm.
every once in a while we'll have some fruit and not, we don't really do grains very much.
Mhm.
I was for my school, I had to learn how to make sourdough. And so
Oh,
I was on a little bit of a sourdough kick there for a while,
mhm.
which God used to really heal a couple of things in me unexpectedly.
Really? Just
Yeah.
making it or eating it?
Yeah. Well, I didn't
Both?
really, yeah, both. I uh I didn't realize how much being in the kitchen stressed me out.
Oh.
Planning in a meal, planning meals, shopping,
Mm.
like being in the kitchen was very stressful for me. I didn't like it.
Mm.
And my husband loves being in the kitchen. He loves cooking. And I never understood him because he's like, this is my safe place. This is where I de-stress. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Wow.
This is the trigger
Well,
for all,
let's
like
sign
this,
you up then, buddy, for
right? Yeah. So, I mean, he does cook majority of our meals, and I'm very thankful to the Lord for him.
love him.
Uh, but the sourdough process
Yeah.
required community and it required talking to people. Well, first I
Mm.
had to acquire my starter from someone and learning from them and talking to people. So it and then it also required me to spend a significant amount of time in the kitchen
Hmm.
because sourdough is very time consuming, but it's a slow process. And
Yeah.
so it got me into a place where I was always feeling pressed for time and feeling that stress, but the sourdough process put me in the same space, but forced me to slow down
Yeah.
and just begin to kind of breathe and enjoy that process.
Hmm.
And it kind of helped me really readjust my idea and my belief system and even kind of I think reset my nervous system with being in the kitchen. It was no longer a stressful place. It actually became a place of calm and
Mm.
and safety. I don't really
Incredible.
enjoy cooking very much, but
It's
it's
not
not like
like
it
it
was
was.
before. Yeah.
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 Did you name your sourdough starter?
Oh yeah. I have a Sam. His name's Sam.
Sam. Okay. I mean, you had to take care of Sam, right?
That's
Sam,
right.
it's those sourdough babies are a lot of work. I didn't do well. I had to give mine up for adoption.
Oh, God bless you
It
for
was
doing
just,
that.
I tried. I tried. Somebody had said that it might work because I'm actually gluten free. I have yet to
Uh,
experience that healing. I'm believing for it. But now you've got me, my brain's kind of
yeah.
rolling a little bit here. IBS, gluten free, all the things. So,
It's a little
Sam, what a
reset.
beautiful friend to help you through your journey and, bring in a new rhythm. What was your favorite? Like, I've seen a lot of people eating carnivore now, but they eat a lot of butter. Did you guys eat a lot of butter?
Oh yeah, we did. We
Did
put
do
butter
you
on
love butter?
everything. Yes.
Okay.
I learned actually started to crave it. I was never a person that liked eating the fat.
Yeah.
Especially like the fat cap on the steak. I'm like, ew.
Yeah.
Any
Right.
extra fat on burgers, I'm like, ew.
Mhm.
But it took about 2 months in. I
Mhm.
think my body was like, this is the good stuff. This is the
Mhm.
gold. And I
Yeah.
started to crave it.
Wow.
And yeah, I was like, I want the fattiest steak and the full
What a
fat
shift,
burgers,
huh?
um, and a lot of butter. And it's because what every single cell is held together with a membrane, and that membrane is made of fat. And you need to eat the fat for your body to make the cell membrane, which is actually the brain of the cell.
Mm.
It's what decides what happens to a cell, what goes in, what goes out. Like it is the
Mhm.
cellular membrane does not get the beautiful attention that it deserves. It truly is the brain, but it needs the fat.
Yeah.
And you need to eat the fat. And then also all of your hormones are made out of fat. Your neurotransmitters are that, all the happy feel good, chemicals in your brain are made out of fat. So if you're not eating the fat, then your hormones are going to tank and you're probably going to be depressed and your cells are going to struggle. And I didn't know
You
that.
got me, my brain. I've thought about this before too. Like, how old are you?
I'm 45.
You're
Yeah.
45. Okay, so I'm 48. So we're kind of same. We're the same
Yeah.
ish generation. I grew up in California, and I remember. I will never forget this. I was in elementary school. I want to say I was maybe in first or second grade, and this guy brought in a blob of fat into the classroom, and
Mm.
he said, "If you eat these things, you're gonna get fat." And I
Oh.
was like, I will not get fat, so I will not eat any of these things. And it was a big precursor to eating disorders. Like literally,
Mhm.
I'm telling you, if I would get pizza, I would take all of the cheese off and I would blot the pizza with paper towel
Oh
to get
yeah.
all the fat off.
Oh, that was our
And if you
generation right
remember,
there. I
there
don't
was
know a
like
single person who didn't do
Olestra,
that. Yeah.
the Olestra chips, the fake fat things.
Oh yes.
All the fat-free things. Like
Oh
I
yeah.
just ate it all up. And I look at that now and I'm like, my sister went to school for nursing and she was like, you know what? We hardly ate any fat, and our brain needed fat. And I'm like, oh, well,
Hmm.
that's what the problem is then. I'm totally kidding.
That was my
But
problem. I'm
but
right
I
there with
mean,
you.
but
We were a
seriously, like,
margarine,
but you know what I'm
seed
saying?
oil family.
Like
Yes.
knowing what you know now, you've
Hmm.
had like supernatural healing. Your daughter's had supernatural healing. What would you say to somebody who's like in our generation and, maybe what are some next steps that they can do to maybe reverse some of the things that maybe are kind of like plaguing them because of some potential. I mean, is that a thing, do you think?
Oh, absolutely. I
Like
feel like with
like
my
these
clients,
plagues that come through
yes.
all the decades that they just can't get over?
The trends through the years, the low fat trend, the low salt trend, I feel like those are the two greatest lies
Yes, yes.
that our generation is really I think contribute so much to a chronic illness. I mean, there are so many factors, but fat, first of all, does not make you fat. That was
Right.
actually a lie paid for by the sugar industry. And there is evidence out there to that. The seven, people can look that up. But um, your cells, your fat
Mhm.
cells, they grow when in by from insulin. So insulin is the hormone that tells a cell to grow and get bigger. Well, proteins and carbohydrates trigger an insulin response. Fat does not. Fat is the only food that you can eat that will not trigger insulin in your body. So it's physically impossible to get fat off of fat.
Hmm.
Um, and so I just say enjoy the fat, eat the fat. It makes
Say
life
that
taste
again and yell it
better.
really loud.
Enjoy the fat, eat the fat. It makes food taste better. You, the joy of food comes back to life on your taste buds.
Yeah.
Um, and then also
Wow.
the other big one that I battle a lot with my clients is the salt.
Mm.
Uh,
Yeah.
we are in a low salt, we
Yeah.
actually are living in a salt sodium deficit and mineral deficit. And it's we need salt for so many things. I think that salt and sodium and mineral deficiency is the main leading cause of like a lot of heart disease and joint pain, hormone issues. I mean, it's your minerals are your spark plugs.
Mm.
So you need your minerals to kind of like create actions in your cells to actually do things. And so, um, yeah. salt is not bad for your heart. It's not, it's actually really good for your heart. In fact,
Mhm.
if you do have a heart attack or an episode, the first thing doctors will do is load you up on high amounts of sodium. So it's like they
Hmm.
know this.
Interesting, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I want to people with
Very
chronic
interesting.
headaches, you're salt deficient. And
Mm.
good quality salt, none of that
Yeah.
iodized table stripped chemical
Well,
laden
what do you
salt,
recommend for
real salt.
salt, just as a little clue for somebody?
Yeah, I love a really heavy mineral dense salt. There's some
Hmm.
beautiful companies out there. I love Salter. It's Saltr. There's Redmond Real Salt. There's Celtic Sea Salt, Baja Gold, Maldon Salt. So just any really good
Hmm.
hearty salt that's just natural and is loaded
Yeah.
with lots of other minerals too. So
It just brings so much flavor to so much. I'll never
yes.
forget years ago, my chiropractor checked my blood pressure and it was so low. She's like,
Oh.
"Girl, you need a salt lick." And I was like, and I was just, I was so I don't know, just I kind of listened to all the things, because
Yeah,
I'm big into health and I was listening to the doctors and blah blah
absolutely.
blah 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 before I kind of went down that natural health pathway. And um it was like the moment I think it was like pink Himalayan salt that I
Mm,
had bought from, must have been at Sam's Club, kind of the twisty grater
yeah,
type thing. I put that stuff on my salad and I'm like, whoa, I have been missing out on this my entire life.
like you felt robbed at that moment. You
Yeah,
had to like
absolutely. Same thing
release
with butter.
forgiveness to everyone that had lied to you about salt.
I'm telling you, I want to line up at I don't even know what associations we could go to. That's a whole other story there. We won't go
Oh
down that trail
yeah.
today. But so tell us of your business name. People are probably wondering, like, what is her business? How do I find her? And like
So it's
before we keep going.
yeah. I named my practice Liberty Wellness because when you are whole and healthy, man, there is freedom to live the life that God's called you to live. I feel like the church, this is one of those issues where the church has just really missed the mark,
Mhm.
unfortunately. And we just, we are not taking responsibility for our health
Mhm.
and making healthy choices. And because when we are healthy, we have
Mhm.
vitality and we're able to actually do and actually be what God has called us to do and be whom God's called us to be and be a very active participant in the kingdom of God. And we're not dragging anybody else down with us. It's so
Mhm.
I just feel like where there's health, there's liberty, there's freedom, and that's just, I mean, who doesn't want that?
Right? I love that. And he gave you that name, right?
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
beautiful. I want you to kind of tap into a little bit of the church, if you're open to that
Sure.
in this realm. In my experience, and I just think that a lot of churches maybe don't know, right? They don't,
No.
that's not their focus. And I've experienced, a lot of churches, maybe it's going to the buffet or donuts and snacks and pop and you know what I mean? Just
Sure. Oh,
all of
yeah.
the non uh, helpful foods. We'll just say that. What would you like?
Yeah.
What would you say to somebody maybe who's listening in today who maybe that is, what's not being pushed but available there? And what could they do to kind of start leaning into more of a supernatural lifestyle?
I love how you say that. Supernatural. Let's be
Yeah,
super about
let's
this.
be supernatural in
Super.
so many ways.
Yeah, it's actually a challenge I'm currently facing with my church. And what's interesting is that a lot of people in the church are very health conscious and health minded. So it's kind of helpful,
Mhm.
but the leadership is not so much. So I am kind of personally in this space, but I feel like the church in general has done a really good job of ministering to the spirit and
Mhm.
even, teaching us about, how to manage the soul. But but the physical body, I mean, we are three parts and
Mhm.
we are wholly three parts. And you're right. It's not done on purpose or malice. It's just really a source, I think, of just ignorance. And then also like, I don't know if there is a sense of overwhelm because deal when you're already ministering to the spirit and the soul, it's like, oh my goodness, now we have to minister to the body too. Like it's just
Mhm.
it's a lot of work. And but the thing is if you're not healthy, you can't be a contributing member of your community and
Mhm.
and the way that, God could fully use you and how you could be. And so you're not just hurting yourself if you're sick, you're hurting your whole community.
Mhm.
And possibly even being a burden to your
Right.
community. And that so I think, being strategic and just, if you're having a potluck or if, there's, you know, uh, a youth group meeting, just providing a charcuterie board. Everybody loves charcuterie, like just something with a whole food, like a fruit platter, a veggie tray, try and find some of those seed-free oil chips and just make a really amazing dip with some whole foods. Like you can get creative with
Mhm.
with whole foods and that are still culturally acceptable
Mhm.
without, so it just takes a little bit more work than just, I mean, you can pretty much pick up a veggie or fruit tray anywhere. Just
Mhm.
don't buy the donuts, just
Right.
don't buy the cake, don't buy the Doritos.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, even the naked ones are really bad for you still, but just
Tell us what the effects are of just eating a bag of Doritos. Just
oh, I think that could be pretty different for each person, but
Mhm.
it's a chemically made food, and
Mhm.
it's nicknamed a hyperpalatable food. So it's designed to trigger the brain,
Mhm.
and the brain's addictive centers. So that's why you can never just eat one chip. It's like you have to have more.
Mhm.
So there's your self-will is out the window because
Mhm.
you've just triggered your brain to be addicted to something. So you're never satisfied. So in a way, you're kind of relinquishing your own will in that
Mhm.
sense, in eating junk food, and because they're designed to be that way, it can take a real toll on your digestion, blood sugar regulation. There's a whole toxin, depending upon the person's toxin load, it can lead to a non-alcoholic fatty liver, gallbladder issues, IBS, bloating, gas, acne, because your body, because it's such a
Like a foreign object, isn't
it,
it?
it's a such yeah it's such a toxin that it starts activating your body basically goes into survival mode. It signals a stress response, so your
Mhm.
cortisol will go through the roof, but it also like starts firing all your detox pathways. So you could break out into a sweat. The acne thing is a detox pathway. Your heart rate increased, so you're stressing your heart. Yeah, there's a
Wow.
lot that can go into eating a bag of chips. I wish I knew
Yeah, I mean,
before.
I love bringing awareness to people because, we don't know what we don't know. And I've learned
Right.
a lot of
Yeah.
things over the years that I didn't know. So
Yeah.
I'm believing that, we're not here to cause fear or anything like
No,
that,
no,
but
no,
we're
no.
bringing awareness here because I love what you said, like we're three part. And what would you say? It's really interesting. I have to share with you just kind of this vision I was seeing. I think it was probably back in the 50s or 60s. Church ladies would put together recipes,
Oh, those recipe books are
recipe books.
golden. Yes.
Yeah, but I'm like, what if there was like a flip the script recipe book made from churches to churches?
Oh, that would be amazing. I love that
Just saying.
idea.
Write
Girl, you
that
got me
down.
thinking. Yes. It's about
I'm
time we
seeing
bring
like a
back some
whole
of that
army,
culture. Yes.
bringing the body back into order.
Oh, that's
You
gold.
got to start a little like warrior troop here. Just saying.
I love it.
Somebody might be listening in and they're like, "Oh, I'm in.
Yeah,
What
just
are we
do it.
gonna do about it?"
It's really easy now because we have like internet and email. So like all you need to do is like say, hey, email us your recipes and then
Yeah.
just throw them all into,
Yeah.
Canva or
So what's your
something.
email if they want to get a hold of you?
I'm Rebecca at libertywellnessandco.com. So
Okay.
yeah, if you have
Awesome.
some recipes, please send them my way. I love
Yes.
recipes,
I mean, stuff
especially
like
for
recipes that are like your family will eat. Like I remember when I first went gluten free, I would make stuff and I wouldn't tell my family it was gluten free, and they were like, "Oh, this is so good." And little did they
so
know
good.
it was like chickpea noodles or whatever it was.
I love it. I know. I snuck so much food into my kids' meals.
Yeah,
They had no idea. It was
yeah.
awesome.
I hope that they and they can look back and appreciate it now, right?
Yeah, absolutely. At least I hope they do. They better. No.
They absolutely do. Well, what are you up to and what can how can others get involved and like what are you doing? Like what is next on the horizon for you? Do you have groups? Do you coach one-on-one? What does that look like?
Yeah, I do work with clients one-on-one, so I'm kind of that person that people come to when they've gotten all their blood labs back and the doctor looks at them and they're like, "Oh, you're fine," but they don't feel fine and something's still wrong
Mhm.
and they need more help, but they've kind of exhausted their resources with conventional medicine. So that's my favorite because that was me for 20 years.
Yeah.
And so I empathize with that. And the more complex and chronic your illness is, the more fun I have with it. And the breakthrough is just even better and so much fun. So I do work with clients one on one. One of my favorites was she came to me.
I
She
was
hadn't
just
been
gonna ask,
able to
would you
eat
share
for,
a testimonial?
yeah, I've got so many from this last year, but um I had a client, she's actually out in Central Asia in a country I don't really want to say the name of it.
Yeah.
But she came to me, she's like, I haven't been able to eat without my stomach hurting for 4 years now. And I'm like, 4 years? That's terrible. That
Mhm.
sounds like torture. And she's like, I just can't eat anything without being in pain. So we did our full intake, all the things, and I got her on her protocol, and within 10 days she messages me and she's like, I can eat everything and pain free. It's like
Oh
a
my God.
miracle. And I'm like, that's amazing. It was just like a quick buy-in. So then she was like, what do I do next to get healthy? So we stepped up and like she had a couple of other health issues. So we tackled those. One of those was seizures. She'd been experiencing anywhere between 10 and 20 seizures a day since she was like 5 years old. And that was not one of her like concerns because she'd lived with it her whole
Wow.
life. Doctors had told her she would have that her whole life, and there was nothing they could do except give her a medicine. And she tried the medicines, hated how they made her feel. So she was refusing medicine.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I'm like, we're going to tackle this seizure thing. I don't know how, Lord, we're going to do this, but I really want her to be seizure free. And so I kind of, within her protocols, kind of snuck in some ideas that would help support potentially. I actually reached out to a couple of other practitioners who specialize in seizures and I said, help me. And they gave me some brilliant advice. And so, anyway, within 4 months after working with me, she was seizure free and she hasn't had seizures since. And that was 8 months ago.
Hallelujah.
And so, yeah, that was like, she was like, wait, what did we do? How is this possible? And I was just like, you know what? I know this wasn't on your agenda, but it was on mine because that
Oh,
just sounds really frustrating and annoying and like very limiting in life. That there's no freedom if you're having to navigate the potential of a grand mal seizure every day and then having to deal with small seizures like a couple an hour. Like that's no fun. That's not freedom in life. And yeah, and then I had another one where she came to me last fall and thyroid stuff, some other things, and the doctors were like trying all kinds of things. They weren't really working. And one of her main complaints was severe hip and knee pain And she went to a doctor. They did some x-rays. Turns out one of her femurs, so one of her leg bones, was actually physically shorter by I think a couple inches. Like it was a substantial difference. And if you did walk behind her, you'd see like she kind of walked like her hips were a little were off.
Yeah.
Um, and she had been talking to a doctor about getting special shoes or inserts. And she looked at me and she's like, I don't want to wear special shoes and inserts. This just sounds annoying. And I'm like, that does sound annoying. But I was like, that's out of my scope. I can't make your legs grow. Like, I can't. I was like, I can help you with like some pain, some ligaments, some other stuff. But
Mhm.
that's kind of that's out of my scope. And but I was like, Lord, you've got to do
Mhm.
something. Like this is she had been wanting to experience a physical miracle. She'd seen other people experience miracles, but she just turned 60 and she was like, I really want to feel a touch of the Lord. And it was a couple weeks after she started work, or a month after she started working with me. We were dealing with a bunch of stuff. It was so much fun. But one Sunday morning at church, she just sat down, she asked for prayer and for something completely different. And her son and her husband were sitting next to her. She was actually sitting on the floor with her feet out in front of her, her legs straight, feet out in front of her. And while they were praying for her, she felt her skin rubbing against the inside of her jeans, and her son's jaw dropped and looked at her husband and said, Did you see that? And they were like, We think we saw it. And her leg grew.
Oh my
And
goodness.
then she went to the doctor that next day. He redid the scans and he said, your leg bones are both the same length on both legs.
Yes.
So it was just kind of like, wow, thank you, Lord. Like,
Yes.
you're the only one who can really grow bones. And I really
Right.
am so
Right.
grateful you did that.
Oh
And so
my
now we
God.
can really deal with some other things too. So
Yes.
it was
Wow.
just like, wow, it was really, really cool. So yeah,
Wow.
that's
I
kind
love
of
it.
a little bit of what I do with clients. Um, and then I wrote and launched an online high school course
Mm.
for homeschoolers. It's a health class. It's kind of like the Maha class on steroids. And
Oh.
it was really motivated, honestly, by my daughter. She was at university and she was like, Mom, you have to work with this person, this friend, this friend. Nobody knows how to eat. Nobody
Oh.
understands the importance of sleep. Nobody knows how to take care of themselves. And they're all sick. They're all a mess. And I was like, why are we sending our kids out into the world? We're launching our beautiful babies into the world completely ill-equipped to make health decisions for themselves. And they're hurting themselves unintentionally, and I'm like, why don't we take advantage of the requirement, for students to graduate high school? They have to take a health class, a semester health class. Why not we just take advantage of that and restructure it into a way that is actually practical and applicable and like provides real empowering health and life skills into these kids so that so I don't just teach health. I teach them about insurance, about how to doctors. I teach them about other healing modalities like homeopathy and herbology and ancient medicines. I teach them about, their rights as a patient, understanding the rights and the laws and, the right to informed consent is really important.
Oh.
I teach them about the wild west of supplements and how to discern media, how to read a scientific study, how to figure out if somebody's telling the truth or not on, is this Instagram, influencer for real or are they being bought and paid for? Like it's just real practical life skills. And so it is, yes, learning about macros, how to read food labels, how to shop, how to use AI to create, like you can, for college kids that are going, to the dining hall, they can use it, they can upload the menu into like ChatGPT or Grok and say, I'm on this diet, I want whole foods, I want to eat, this many macros, blah, 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 blah. And then it will tell them what to eat from the dining hall. Like, so there's
Really?
just so
Wow.
many really cool tools that our kids can use.
Mhm.
They just have to be shown how to use them or told that they're available. So
That's
I'm really
incredible.
hoping to get this class in like every home because it's been changing lives and changing whole families' lives, and it's been
Mhm.
so much fun. I had one student, we have one module just on the digestion and digestive tract, and he had been dealing with a lot of digestive issues, and he didn't tell me this until at the end of class, but he said, I took what I learned from that module and I used all of your advice and I healed my digestion. I no longer have issues anymore and I can eat anything and I'm finally gaining weight. And it was just like, oh my
Wow.
goodness, like the kids are actually using what they're learning, and it's just been wild and blowing my mind. Every semester blows my freaking mind what these kids do with this information.
Wow. Now, is
Yeah.
this like a group that you lead? Is it
Yeah,
online, in person?
yeah. It's on,
Okay.
they can find it on my website. It's an online health class. Yeah.
Okay. So
So I
like
have
like you're
students
actually
from,
teaching like with a video too?
yeah, well, it's live and self-paced. So I do I have a live class where I teach weekly live, or they can do it on their own with videos. So it's a self-paced that way. So they have either option.
Okay. Well, how
But
can
yeah,
people find that? Is it specifically somewhere on your website?
yeah, it's just on the top banner of my website. It says health course, and just
Okay.
click on that. Yeah, easy,
That
fun.
needs to get into everybody's hands.
I love it because the self-paced is just super easy. And I even have friends who are like, can I take it? I'm 50 years old. I'm like, absolutely. Just know that it's written for like the youths.
Yeah.
But I mean, the information is, can be used by
Transferable, right?
everyone. So yeah. And don't worry, you
Well,
don't have to grade yourself if you don't want to.
everybody gets an A. Oh, I
That's
love
right.
this. Wow, I didn't know that you did that. That's really
Yeah.
incredible. It's so needed in so many spaces. Wow. What is your favorite like age range to work with? It sounds like
Mm,
you've worked with younger, the youth, the 60s. You're probably like me, like we don't pigeonhole ourselves into like an age bracket. Like, we're
yeah, it's
told
hard to
we need
do.
to niche it down. It's like, but what would be like kind of your favorite age range to work with, I would say, like what generation?
Honestly, I absolutely love working with the high schoolers. I never thought I would say that after being a bus driver for so long and a youth pastor and just kind of getting burnt out on
Yeah.
working with, I mean, I love my kids, but um they there's just something so beautiful and unique on this next generation, and they get a lot of slack.
Mm,
And there's just a lot of bad things being said about them. And but the thing is I see potential. I see hunger. I see
mm,
a desire for real organic life.
mm,
And these kids think through things. They ask amazing questions. And they're it's really fun because I feel like I'm getting them where they're experiencing consequences of their health choices. So they're able to observe and kind of still tune in with their own like innate wisdom, and seeing what's actually happening with the consequences of their choices. But they're not they haven't been doing it for so long that they're so they've kind of crossed into the realm of real chronic
mm,
issues,
mm.
and really hard to come back from. I don't know a single illness that you can't recover from. I
Say that again.
I don't know a single illness that
Mm,
you cannot actually recover from, because the body, God designed our body, our default system is to heal.
yeah.
And like I've met so many people that have been told this will never heal, and
Mm,
it it's totally possible. I've seen it over and over and over again, but it's harder to do. The longer you make bad
mm,
health choices, the more damage you do to the body over a longer period of time. It's just a harder challenge to reverse it. So I
mm.
just love getting these kids at the
Yes.
beginning, and I feel like
Right.
I'm putting them on my shoulders and I'm
Mm,
setting them up,
mm.
and I'm like, your choices are yours, but like you're
Yeah.
going in this with eyes wide open. You know what I mean? And
Good.
I want to
Yeah.
set you up for success, not
Beautiful.
I
You're
just don't
you're
want
in
them.
the offense, like you're coming at it from an offensive
Yeah.
like position rather than trying to defensively come back. You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, that's the great way of saying that. Yeah.
right, you're like literally helping prevent.
Right.
And it's
Like,
generational,
yeah, I
completely,
just,
completely generational. It
I
has
mean,
generational implications. So, what a full circle redemption story here, if you guys are catching that. She went from missions and retired, and she was a bus driver and retired, and now she has refired with a massive vehicle of transformation. So we thank you for everything that you're doing. Be sure that you reach out to Rebecca. I'm going to have all of her contact information in the show notes, but if you could just share your website with us again and your email again, in case somebody is like, wait, 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 I want to just hear
yeah.
it.
It's just Liberty Wellness and Co.com. And my name, Rebecca, Rebecca at Liberty Wellness and Co.com. I'm also
Perfect.
on Instagram and Facebook and uh, Liberty Wellness and Co. And I have a podcast too that you were a wonderful guest of. We talk all things health and teenagers and
Oh.
fun stuff. So yeah.
And
Mhm.
what's the name of your podcast? Tell them.
Liberty Net Wellness with Rebecca Stewart. I'm trying to stay consistent.
Yes. Well, we do our best, right?
I know. I'm not usually consistent, but I'm trying.
We we don't fit in boxes,
No.
listeners. Put it that way. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, and thank you for being a brave voice who's setting so many free. Before I close, though, I just want to give you another opportunity to, like, if you have any words of wisdom over, I always do this for that one that's listening in today, and then would you pray us out?
Sure. I mean, I'm assuming most of your followers know the Lord, and I just want to encourage you to really be courageous and listen to his leading when it comes to your health and ask questions. And don't be afraid to ask him questions and ask everyone else questions, but we are the only animal on the planet that depends on someone else to tell us what to eat and how to
Mhm.
live. But within us, the Lord did put within us the same, it's called innate wisdom that every other animal has, that just that knowing of
Mhm.
what's good for them. And I just want to challenge you to be courageous, to tap into that and trust that. And um, yeah, it's really sweet and sacred and honoring to your body. And I working with the Lord, I think you'll experience healing and breakthrough in ways you just never even thought was possible. Um, so yeah, Father, I thank you so much for this amazing opportunity. And for those who are listening, I ask that you would release a fresh wave of knowing and hearing and seeing you leading and guiding them. Lord, that there would be a restoration within their being to tap into listening to their body and understanding how to listen to their body and honor their body. And for those who need an actual healing miracle, Lord, I'm just going to boldly say, please, Jesus, just release your healing oil. And I love how in Ephesians, it says, you will do more than we could possibly ask or imagine. And Father, I ask that you would release that right now. Release more than we could possibly ask or imagine right now. And just blow us away as we just courageously step into trusting you in new ways in our life in this next season. Yeah. And I just bless everyone in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Amen.
Mhm.
Well, we're going to have you back again. sometime. I think there's
I
going to
would,
be some
that would be
more that you're going to be
fun.
releasing. Just saying.
Oh, this is such an
Beautiful.
honor. Thank you so
Oh,
much for having
you're
me.
welcome. Let me close with our anchoring verse. It's may the God of hope fill you with all joy and peace in believing, so by the power of the Holy Spirit you may abound in hope. And that's Romans 15:13. Thank you, Rebecca. This has
Thank
been
you.
amazing. Be sure to reach out to her, like I said, and I will be back with another episode next week. Thanks, listeners.